keep running, but your legs are standing still. It's like you're stuck in a nightmare, but you keep doing it for the thrill. Well, this is reality, you only live it once, so wake up from your dream. But just for tonight, let the lines get blurred, let your thoughts be free, let your thoughts be free.
Good evening and welcome to Elite FPL, and today is the Game Week 4 preview. Myself and Steve have done our wildcards, have done our wildcards along with many others in the community, and today we're here to talk some total BS and maybe influence you to make a change or two of your team. Steve-o, hello, how's it going? Oh, hang on. Talk now. Hello Steve, how you doing?
Yeah, hello everybody. Bit of a different environment today. In my mum's.
Why is that? Tell everybody. Go on.
I'm away from London. 2 weeks away from, well, not complete 2 weeks, but virtually 2 weeks away from London. So be back in London on Friday or Saturday, and then back on Monday for another week or so. So yeah, very quiet down here, isn't it, Jace? It's great. Unlike your day today.
What, driving all the way up to Wrexham and getting absolutely smashed by hailstones? Yeah, it's been a really quiet day. Yeah. 5 hours driving. Getting absolutely soaked. Do you know what? There's one thing worse than being stood outside getting soaked through. The one thing worse than that is getting in a car, or no, in a van in this case, and then driving for 2.5 hours home, soaking wet. It's horrible. It is horrible. But anyway, enough of that. Good evening, everybody. Hello to Firetog. Bailey's here. Connor's here. Matthew Ejidishi's here. Jonathan Mahoney. What No Graphics is here too. Shout out to Alex Voller with the thumbnail, as always. So yeah, wildcard. Are you? I mean, is it me, or am I could be completely wrong? But is it me, or has there been absolutely nothing in terms of price rises for the last 4 or 5 days?
No, nothing.
So, really, there's not been much to do in terms of jiggling your team around to try and capture those. We kind of looked at your team on the wild card on last week, and obviously you did a stream with Ray as well. We talked about, and you talked a bit more about your wild card. You seemed like you weren't 100% set on every player. There was a suggestion of going without Haaland. Now, I am very curious as to find out, are you going to go ahead with that idea of going no Haaland and load up in midfield and bring in Ollie Watkins? Or are you going to hold fast to what you've got or had on your previous draft with Haaland and Salah in your team? So we'll start off with you, and then we'll talk about me. I'm pretty boring. My team is pretty much the same. I've not done anything to my team, but I'm more interested in knowing what you've done with your team. Have you got a screenshot of it, or do you want to just talk to us about it?
It is in the team screenshots. There's the one with Watkins in. It's not that difficult to find. It's like 3 or 4 up. And
team screenshots. Discord team
screenshots. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still adamant on not going Haaland for 3 game weeks.
You're not going Haaland.
Yeah, for 3 game weeks. But with this news of Odegaard, Rice, and various other Arsenal players not going to be playing for Arsenal for the next week, 2 weeks or whatever, I'm a bit concerned about Havertz. And I've been playing around with various drafts, but to be completely honest with you, James, I just keep coming back to the no Haaland draft with Watkins,
which is Flecken, Verbruggen, Robertson, Robinson, Greaves, Alexander-Arnold, Lewis, Rogers, Semenyo, and Bremo, Palmer, Salah, Havertz, one of the Brighton 2 I can't see because it's off the screen, and Watkins. Okay.
Yeah, I keep coming back to it, Jace. I spoke to Ray earlier about Arsenal assets, and he said just avoid them for the next two game weeks because he just doesn't know how they set up. But let's get real here. Saka's the only player which isn't going to be messed about, along with obviously the defenders. But we're talking from an attacking perspective here. I want to go triple Liverpool. I'm not really too confident on their guaranteed front 3 apart from Salah. Jota and Diaz's minutes are a bit dodgy. I still think they are the
bit uncertain.
Yeah, they are the preferred front 3. There's no questioning that. But with Champions League, with the likes of Gakpo there, Nunes, the other bloke that they brought in, I'm not suggesting for me that they're all guaranteed to start versus Brentford, Nottingham Forest, Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth and whatnot. But like you say, there's a bit of uncertainty of them starting. Whereas with Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, they're guaranteed, no matter what, they're going to be playing. With the likes of Watkins, I said to Ray, look, fixtures build form. Their upcoming fixtures are incredible. Everton's defence is just, they're non-existent, James. And I think that game against Aston Villa on Saturday, I believe it is, could be very profitable. Could be the kickstart Ollie Watkins needs to start his season scoring. And yeah, don't get me wrong, Haaland against Brentford, I'm not expecting him not to do anything, but I think that there's more upside with the other players returning than there is for the replacements that I would have if I had Haaland. So the replacements would be, for instance, Thier in for Robertson, Diaz in for Palmer. They're pretty much the 2. So, and then obviously Haaland in for Watkins. And I think that the combination of Watkins, Palmer, and Robertson for 3 game weeks is better than Haaland, Diaz, and Thier in this case. What do you think?
I see your logic behind it. I think that it's a risk. It certainly is a baller move. Yes, maybe fractionally, I can see maybe a slight upside on those 3 players. I mean, you're right about Diaz. I mean, he's not guaranteed. I think he'll play for large parts of a game, but he's not guaranteed the 90 minutes. I completely agree with that. We've got people in big tips in chat saying get Sterling and captain. God. But no, I think that there's reasoning behind it which makes sense. It's a strategic 3-week move. Your captain's going to be with Salah.
Yes. Yeah.
Or Watkins.
No, it'd be Salah.
Right. Okay. So your captain's sorted. You've got a strong team. You're going to have a few differentials from others. You may be getting ahead on Watkins before anyone else and capturing price rises there. If he goes off on one this weekend, guarantee he's going to get a 0.1 or 0.2 rise. So I don't think it's that risky, to be honest. I don't think that if you do lose points on it, it will be via much at all. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if worst case, you kind of break even in a weird way. Barring, of course, a Haaland hat-trick again, which would be just absolutely ridiculous against Brentford, who are very good, and certainly it'll be a tough game. No, I can see your thoughts, and I'm not going to lie, Steve-O, I like it, and maybe might consider doing something similar, but I don't know.
This team does have, I think it's 1 point. I haven't even changed the team yet. I'm literally waiting until Friday, if not Saturday morning, once all the price, because Watkins potentially could be going down again. And he won't do, but there's a small chance. I think he's at 30% at the moment, going down. By
No
Friday,
way. God.
yeah, by Friday evening, he could go down to 8.8. Again, unlikely. All the players that I've got aren't going to be going down in price, and none of them are going to be going up in price. Like Robertson, he ain't going to be going up in price.
Can I ask an honest question? Have you copied Firetog?
Well, I copied Firetog.
Have you copied Firetog's strategy?
No, I've copied FPL Olympian and Andy Martin.
There we go.
No, I had this discussion with Ray on the Patreon, and I had it with him on the stream itself. And I just said, at the end of the day, you've got to, with this particular game, if you want to win, you need to attack it. And right now, I just think that Haaland going into those 3 fixtures with Brentford, Arsenal and Newcastle, I just think that the players that I've got have got a better opportunity to come through ahead of the other 3, to be completely frank. Like we saw last, well, I did watch it, I wasn't interested, but
I mean, the one thing I will say is Robertson at 6 million, I don't consider him an attacking option anymore, purely as to watching him. I don't think of him as being the same Robertson of 2-3 seasons ago. However, you know, your other pick. I mean, the fact that you've got Havertz, the fact that you have got Havertz and Watkins in, it is a tasty team. And, you know, I think your rotation pairing between Flecken and Verbruggen is very, very good. Like you mentioned as well on a previous on stream, I think your defense is very good. You've got some very good options there. Okay, Greaves at 4 million, who cares about him? But Robertson's very good, Fulham. You've got 2 big hitters in Robertson and Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool keeping a clean sheet, no doubt about it in my mind. Lewis, question marks, but at the moment, I think it's safe to say he's okay. He's safe at the moment. Yeah. May not be for the rest of the whole season, but right now he's safe. I've seen Onana from Villa being transferred in en masse as well, and as an alternative to Rodgers. Is that something that you have thought about, or not even bothered about?
Well, as I said, every time I do a wildcard draft, I've been doing it regularly, quite today actually, specifically based on what Ray was saying about just avoid Arsenal. But once you take that 8 million out with Havertz, or 8.1, whatever, what strikers are there? There's no striker in the bracket of cheap where I'm like, oh, I'm confident with him. There's nobody. So you've got to look at the likes of Welbeck. I don't want to be doubling up on Brighton attack. Plus, he's gone up to 5.7. You've then got...
I've got Welbeck and... I've got Welbeck and the other one, Pedro, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I played around with that, but it just meant that my midfield then gets shot to pieces. I'm really keen on Palmer, Jason. Really keen on Palmer.
Okay.
I think that he's going to be another one.
Madueke.
Well, did he get an assist the other night?
Yeah.
Did he get an assist last night? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
For England?
Yeah.
He's not going to be moving out of that team. You know, the front. I mean, Ray made a point about Nicholas Jackson for coverage of Chelsea. I just prefer Palmer, and plus my team has got penalty takers: Palmer and Burmo, Salah. And also another option I had was I genuinely had Palmer, Saka, and Burmo and Salah, but my front 3 was just. Well, one of them was just non-existent. I wasn't really happy having, I think it was Watkins and Pedro as my front 2. I wasn't happy with that at all. I want that solid front 3. The only players in my team that I'm not particularly overjoyed with are Semenyo, Havertz and Rodgers. Barring that, I'm pretty happy with my team. I think there was a consideration for Eze, but listen to FPL Juice and the comedian Jim Daly. He's a Crystal Palace fan. He doesn't think that Crystal Palace are going to be pulling up trees. But then he's saying that from
Well,
a
to be
bias.
fair to Eze, he has been very unlucky.
Well, there's a few players, yeah.
You know, against West Ham, he hit woodwork, didn't he? He hit the wood.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he hit the woodwork against Brentford. He came very close from a free kick as well. It's like, yeah, I just think that Eze, for me, like, there was a question mark like when I was doing the wild card. I was thinking to myself, do I include him, keep him in? He's obviously dropped down to 6.9 at the moment. But no, I think he's he's still very much a pivotal player in that team, and I think I'll keep him. But yeah, so Steve, I'm going to ask the question that you tend to ask, and I know you probably expect it. What percentage likelihood is this team going to be your team when it comes to game updating on Saturday morning?
I'm about 90. I've been sitting on this team for a while. I'm about 95%, if not higher, that's going to happen. Unless I hear some news about one of the players is definitely not going to be playing. The problem is, though, James, is I'm going to be on the motorway when the deadline is going to be approaching. So me being back home on Saturday by, what is it, 11 o'clock? Is it 11? Yeah. By 11 o'clock it's going to be very, very tight. The earliest I'm going to be home is 10:30. And that's me pushing it. So I reckon I'm going to miss the deadline. So I'm going to have to do it Saturday morning, hoping that, I mean, most of the players that we're aware of are going to be fit and ready and available, unless Emre was to come out and say, no, Ollie Watkins isn't going to be playing on Saturday. If I was to hear that, it's like, right, it's going to be Haaland in, and then Havertz and Watkins out, and whatever I can play with at that point. But certainly, right now as it stands, I'm about 95% certain I'm going to be going in with those 3 games. Because by the time it gets to game week 7, and I want to bring Haaland back, I'll be probably taking out. It's either going to be Salah or Palmer, depending on how they perform over the next 3 fixtures. But it's probably going to be Salah because I think I worked out the only way I can afford it. But I'll have 2 free transfers by game week 7, I believe it is. And yeah, I'm going to need Haaland back. And that's the only thing that makes me want to hold Haaland, is because of the fact that he's probably going to be, I would say, 15.3 by the time he gets to game week 7. I think that's how much he's going to be, 15.3. Unless by some miracle he drops down in price because he does nothing over the next 3 game weeks. But history against Brentford isn't that great, Jace. It's not that good at all. Brentford, they may not win. Man City do like playing Brentford, but it's not by high scoring margins. I think there was only one anomaly when they won 3-1. But other than that, it's all 2s. Yeah, Haaland could score. In fact, I think, if I'm predicting now, Haaland gets 2 goals, just the way he's playing at the moment and the way Man City are. And yeah, Ray is right. You know, the Haaland captaincy could ruin me. But if I can get through it with Watkins potentially doing really well against Everton and Salah, you know, Liverpool's form against Nottingham Forest is very, very good. They like playing Nottingham Forest, especially at home. They like playing them. And the way they're playing at the moment, they're scoring goals for fun. They're on fire at the moment, Liverpool. So, yeah, it is literally going to be gritting my teeth, because I'll be doing the 3 p.m. kickoffs on Saturday. So anybody listening now, I'm doing the 3 p.m. kickoff. Yeah, I'm doing the 3 p.m. because I can't do, well, there's no point doing Saturday evening because there's a bloody match at 8 o'clock. So yeah, I'm just going to do the 3 p.m. kickoffs. And yeah, it's going to be through gritted teeth covering those matches, because obviously Man City and Liverpool are playing at the same time. And I do expect me to be knowing that Haaland's going to come through with a double-digit score. But again, we can only yes.
The question that I want to ask about my team is on the wildcard. Do I have players that I rotate on a weekly basis? On this case, with this coming weekend, it'll be the likes of Brian and Burmo that I would relegate to the bench. Obviously in favour of Eze, of all people, funny enough, who's got a fixture which I kind of like the look of, Leicester at home. So obviously going to have 4.5 defender in Mazraoui, with FaZe as well as a cheapie for Leicester. But the question I have is, if I was to jiggle a couple of players around and not do the rotation and risk having points on my bench, get rid of Mbuemo, say bring in, for the sake of argument, a cheap midfielder. Okay, what's a cheap midfielder in this day and age? Rogers or maybe Onana for Aston Villa, or who you say Winks?
Yeah, it's 4.5.
No, I was thinking of like a 5 mil,
Okay.
which would so like a 5 mil price point. Yeah, Semenyo, maybe no. I think Onana or probably Rogers, because I think Rogers is on penalties and he did well in the under-21s as was mentioned earlier on. But let's just say, for example, I took Mbuemo out and brought Rogers in, and then I could then afford to drop Welbeck and Pedro out of the team, because to be honest with you, I look at them and I'm like, do I really want to be going with double Brighton attack? I could then go Watkins in. Okay. Mazraoui out for Greaves, and then have 4.8 attacker. So then essentially what it would go from having the likes of Mazraoui, Mbuemo on the bench, to then having basically playing Watkins in place. So let me just give you an example. So I would play Dunk, Alexander-Arnold, Lewis, and probably another defender to do a 4-4-2 instead of a 3-4-3. So I guess where I'm coming from is, if I was to do that, I would essentially go 4-4-2 and have Watkins in play, Watkins and Rogers, and say Greaves or Face playing instead of Welbeck, Pedro and Eze. So like for example, it's like in my head, I'm like, do I want to have players like Mbuemo on my bench or Eze on my bench?
Because you are going with Haaland and Salah, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
And you're adamant on that.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the tough decision for you, because I'm choosing for those 3 game weeks to go against it. And I could be priced out of Haaland by game week 7. I could be. And you sacrificing.
But then again, that's just for Watkins, who's at the moment, he's an unknown. Like, he's not. He's just not. He's probably not even match fit.
I don't think it's that. I think that Emre's, hasn't he come out and said that he wasn't. Oh yeah, match fit. Yeah, he's trying to get up to speed with playing the full 90, and I'm pretty certain he said that he wants to manage his minutes.
Yes.
Something worse to that effect. And like I say, fixtures build form. And with those 3 fixtures for Watkins, Aston Villa, Everton, Wolves, and Ipswich, I'm not saying Ipswich are rollovers, but it builds form, Jess. And if he was to get, say, 2 goals against Everton, confidence at that point goes into the Wolves game, who haven't exactly been looking sharp. And I think that with Watkins being the guaranteed starter for Aston Villa, one of the guaranteed starters for Aston Villa, because that's the problem with Aston Villa. With the defence, there's only a few that that are going to play, but with the Champions League coming up, they're going to be swapping around. Like Maatson, I'd love to be able to own Maatson. I'd love to own him, mate, but I can't, because he isn't going to guarantee to start for Aston Villa. He'll definitely play in the Champions League. Oh, he's guaranteed to play the Champions League. But Premier League is just not an option, unfortunately. And with the news that Konsa's out, I don't know who replaces Konsa in that team. By all accounts, it didn't look good, according to reports. So, is there a player that steps up for Aston Villa that's, again, another guaranteed starter for Villa at centre-back? And yeah, I just look at the Aston Villa fixtures and think you can't look a gift horse in the mouth at the moment. And when you're on wildcard, yeah, the scary thought is going without Haaland, but it's Arsenal and Newcastle. They're not easy fixtures. They're
No.
not easy at all. And even though Haaland at the moment is in probably potentially the form of his life, and a lot of the big hitters in FPL / the world of football seem to be, specifically in the Premier League, seem to be doing exceptionally well, like Saka, Salah, Haaland, Palmer. They all seem to be constantly returning. This anomaly of just Haaland and Salah returning exactly the same points is just absurd. It won't continue. And I sadly do think that Haaland is probably going to outscore Salah this week, probably. But across the next 3, I expect Salah to outscore Haaland because of the fixtures. I can't remember what is Salah's 3rd fixture. He's got Forest, Bournemouth, and then
He's got Forest, Bournemouth, Wolves away.
Oh, that's right. And Haaland's got Brentford, Arsenal, and then Newcastle.
Yes. Yeah.
And Arsenal enjoy playing Man City at the moment. Last 3 fixtures, Arsenal have come out on top. Well, they haven't. I don't think they've lost the last 3. Is that right?
Arsenal, yes.
Yeah, they haven't lost the last 3. So I think Arteta knows how to nullify. Now, I know they've lost particular individuals that are key to the way Arsenal play, but it's defensively they're still top in the division, and I think they'll nullify Haaland. I think they'll do a job against Haaland, but that's why I'm not too. It's going to be scary. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here in my mum's spare room and be like, "Oh, Haaland's going to do crap over there." Of course, there's that scary thought, but if I can get through these next 3 fixtures with, like you stated, breaking even, or at worst case scenario, maybe being 10 points behind, or maybe even 5 or 10 points ahead, it's just going to be like, oh, thank God, I got through it. Now it's Fulham at home. Because that Fulham at home is another fixture where it's triple captaincy option, possibly. And then what is it? Southampton a few weeks later, game week 9, triple captaincy option. You'd be mad not to have him at that point. Yeah. But right now, I think it's just about time just to come off the Haaland bandwagon. But with someone like yourself that's happy to go with both, it just as you've just demonstrated it.
Well, the thing is, if I was to go off the Haaland bandwagon, I can tell you one thing for definite: De Bruyne will be coming straight in my team.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Well, why is that? Apart from
just
the fact
coverage,
he's a world-class player.
Coverage, and just having
Great
coverage
sign.
in City.
I'll tell you what, that when you look at your rivals' teams, and you like when I look at your wild card, I go, oh God, you've got Haaland and Salah. That's not good. But the rest of it, I'm like, whatever. But you saying that if you got rid of Haaland and brought in Kevin De Bruyne, I'll tell you what, that is a possible game changer. He's a big game player as well.
Well, it would free up an absolute shed load of money.
I'd rather have Kevin De Bruyne than Semenyo. In fact, if I could get to, I can't do. But if I may even look, do you know what, Jace? With what Ray was saying, getting rid of Semenyo for Kevin De Bruyne. I'm gonna have a look at that later after this stream. I may look at that later.
Great.
It's a good shout, James. It's a good shout. We made
because I could tell you one thing now is that I could get in. Mind you, saying that Diaz again, you make a very good point about Diaz and uncertainty over starts. Well, not starts, but minutes. Sorry, minutes, not starts. I misspoke. I'm looking at the team, and I don't even really like Eze in my team. But like, say I was to go right. Let me just quickly have a look at this here. If I was to get that player in, can you read the chat? By the way, the chat may or may not be saying something. Right, I would have 17.5 to spend on midfielders. So then let's just see what I can
Well,
get
who's
with
your
that.
front three? You got rid of Haaland. What for Watkins?
No, I've just put Havertz in.
All right, so who's your front three then?
Well, Pedro, Welbeck, and Havertz. But I think who's more nailed, Pedro or Welbeck?
Right now, it's Welbeck, but it would be Ped. They're both nailed. They're both guaranteed.
Yeah, well, I was kind of thinking, like, is there a difference between two? I'm just ripping up my team at the moment.
Pedro's on penalties. That's the only difference.
For me, I'm not blown away by strikers. Are you?
No. I think we've missed. Well, I know for a fact I've missed the boat on Chris Wood. I went Muniz over Wood.
No one's getting Watkins in, by the way. It seems like. Well, I was saying,
they're getting rid of him. That's the point. He could drop by Saturday morning. It's unlikely, but there's a small possibility.
Like, for me, I'm just looking at this, and the team you can make without Haaland is very tempting.
But how do you get him back? You've got to ask yourself.
Yeah.
You can't, because I did that earlier. I just rinsed my budget and I was like, oh yeah, that team's really good. Oh, wait a minute. I can't get Haaland back without doing
without doing some serious but I'm like looking at, like, money wise, I wish I could share my screen with you right now because it's quite interesting. So would I go 3-5-2? I'm tempted. I mean, Welbeck, Havertz, Watkins, Salah, Diaz, Madueke, De Bruyne. Oh my god, it's like I've still got 12.7 to spend.
Yeah, so name that midfield again.
Hang on, let me just fill my midfield out a second because I'm just so Diaz, Salah, Alexander-Arnold. I could afford to go. I mean, to be honest, I could get anyone in. I could absolutely get anyone in my midfield there. I'll just put Rodgers in. Then I have 7.6 for a midfielder, Steve-O. Sorry, so for a defender. 7.6 for a defender.
Well, you've got Horo, Robertson, and then you got triple Liverpool anyway. Have you got triple Liverpool?
I've got triple Liverpool, yeah. But if I was to get Diaz out and do what you did, put Robertson.
I think personally that could
give me 9.1 for a midfielder.
And who's your midfielders at the moment?
I'll tell you now. Hang on.
But then, if you can, I'd be getting rid of
Bruno Fernandes.
No, come on, Dave. No, if you can get Saka, get rid of Havertz for Saka, and then you fill that.
I can do that. I can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
That striking spot with, I couldn't even tell you right
Watkins,
now.
Welbeck, and I mean, it'll be the midfield would be De Bruyne, Madueke, Rodgers, Saka, and Salah.
Well, if you were I'll tell you what. If you were planning on doing a 3-5-2, what does that leave you in the bank with Saka?
Well, I'm just thinking because I could just do a cheapy striker and then upgrade Rodgers, but then.
Well, I was thinking upgrading Madueke. If you could potentially get to Palmer, if it's possible.
Well, I would have to do. Who's a cheapy striker that's playing at the moment?
Well, it'd be 4.5, wouldn't it? So, what money have you got left?
Well, if I put 4.5 in and I take Madueke out, I'd have 9.1.
You're 1.45 short of Palmer. See, this is what was happening to me earlier. But remember, you got to remember, how do you get Haaland back in?
That is it, yeah.
That's why my team, it works relatively well, because I can do Haaland in straight swap for free. If you're going to spend all your money, which is fine, but you're going to want Haaland back for that Fulham fixture and that run that run from game week 7 onwards is sick. And you have made me think about Kevin De Bruyne. I'm going to look at that. Like I said, after this stream, I'm going to look at that and see how it goes. Because who are the locks in your team, though, James? Who are absolute guarantee, no matter what, by Saturday deadline, this player is going to, these players are going to be up. I'm assuming
locks in my team will be. To be fair with you, most of them. Like the only one that's unlikely. Well, the only question marks I've got in my team are Mbuemo, who I'm not a massive I'm not massively excited about owning him, and maybe Eze. What are you laughing at?
And Burmo's an absolute key component to Brentford.
Yeah, but he's got some tough fixtures.
What?
So he's got either. I would even class that West Ham at home.
No.
I think it'd be a tough one.
No. Brentford they're a very good team.
They're not going to wipe him out. They're not going to wipe him aside, mate.
Well, no, but again, Mbuemo scores goals. No Tony anymore. No Tony. Him and Visa are going to be the two key players for Brentford to be scoring the goals. And he's on penalties as well. Their fixtures do turn. And I think it's from Tottenham. They've got decent history versus Tottenham as well.
Yeah, well, read some of the things that the chat are saying. KDP Cooks versus Arsenal, says Big Tips. It's close between Haaland and Salah this week for captain, says Andrew Ferguson. Arsenal could be without Odegaard, says Maestro. I'm on the same mind as Steve-O on Salah and Haaland, says Dan the Man. So we've got, are you going without Haaland, Steve-O, says Maestro? And yes, the answer is yes, potentially. Good luck. Could he bag a hat-trick of hat-tricks? I mean, that'd be very, very unlikely, but possible. Connor says, I wildcard and tripled up on Liverpool players with Alisson, Diaz, Salah. Liverpool's next 3 fixtures are juicy. No one has ever done back-to-back hat-tricks before, have they? Well, back-to-back-to-back. You mean hat-trick of hat-tricks? I feel like it has been done.
I can't think of the player off the top of my head. You know, if you're thinking of strikers, you're thinking Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, of course, the 3, Pele.
I mean, the Premier League, probably not.
No, I just mean in general across Europe, if not the world. How many who scored a hat-trick of a hat-trick of a hat-trick? It is, I don't think it's probably, in fact, even scoring a double hat-trick is rare enough. I reckon Haaland's in a very small elite group of players that have done back-to-back hat-tricks. And to get a triple hat-trick, I think he'd be literally in a group of 1 with himself. And there's
I'm reading this.
There's no denying that Haaland is an absolute beast of a man. 23 years old, isn't he? 22, 23.
7 players have scored 3 consecutive hat-tricks in a professional football in England, but never has it happened in the Premier League. And in fact, the feat has not been achieved since 1946. Worldwide, the record for the most successive hat-trick stands at 5, which happened on 3 occasions at various levels of the game. So Masashi Nakayama scored 4 hat-tricks in a row between the 15th to the 29th of April 1998. That was in a J League. So Japan, yeah, the level of football is different, of course, but back in 1998, I'd imagine. But yeah, Joseph Boishan scored 5 hat-tricks in a row in 1939 to 1940. 17th of November to 19th of March. He also was known to have 5,000 goals. Joseph Bishan. More goals than Ronaldo or Pele.
The air raid was coming over. All the goalkeepers are running away. Oh, tapping.
There's a slight controversy over whether Joseph Boichan's achievement can officially be classified as a record. That is because it took place in a wartime league following the outbreak of Second World War, and it was a clear standard of the league had dropped. However, 2 things can't be argued. Joseph Bychan scored 5 successive hat-tricks and 19 goals in total in the Bohemia and Moldova League between November 1989 and March 1940. And 2, Joseph Bychan was truly an incredible goal scorer. Between 1931 and 1957, Bychan scored 783 goals in 488 games, and another 26 in 33 games at international level. Nearly every single one of his goals for his club was scored in the top division of either the Austrian or Czechoslovakian league. In 1931, aged 17, Bychan scored a first-half hat-trick and 4 goals in total on his debut for Rapid Vienna. In 1955, aged 42, Bychan played the last league match of his career for Dynamo Prague. He scored 4 times in that game. Oh my God. The guy was a beast.
This is the Elite FPL channel, everybody. We're here to talk about the post World War One.
Well, this one's 2016. September 2016 to November 2016. Stefan Lucianic, 5 hat-tricks in a row in the Croatian Football League. So lurking in the 7th tier of Croatian football. Playing in a simple stadium with a capacity of 850 fans, which is quite formidable for 7th tier. NK Dracic Dakovo may not be a place that you would expect finding record-equaling striker, but that's what happened in 2016 when Stefan Lucianic bagged a hat-trick in the 10-0 win over NK Zrinski Drenj. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce these. It gave him 5 successive hat-tricks and 20 goals in total of 5 games. It's crazy.
But if there's any Austrian members of the FPL community, make sure you comment in the video afterwards. Let us know if you know this person.
Okay, in England, top flight, Frank Osborne, Tottenham in 1925. Frank Osborne, South African born, was the first man to achieve this feat back in 1925. Osborne's family moved to England in 1911. So yeah, very long time ago. This is the thing about football. This is the thing about football. You can never say that no one's done this or that because it's gone back. Like football goes back so hundreds of years. So like someone may have done it. And a few players have. Ahmed Rizouvan, 5 hat-tricks in a row in October 2019. Ahmed Rizouvan matched the feats of Joseph Bychan and Stefan Lucianic when he scored 5 hat-tricks in successive games in the Duhavi Premier League, a top level of Maldivian professional football. I mean, again, standards different from Premier League, but it has been done in professional football. Anyway, we move on because we could be all night talking about this.
About Japanese League 8.
Yeah, 7th league of oh God. But yeah, we'll just talk about the game, shall we? Let's move on.
Just quickly going back to the wildcard. In all seriousness, you're expecting most of those players to be in the team that you've got there. It's just a few that you're a bit you're concerned over. That's it.
Well, for me, it's having players that I'm rotating that are good. Like for example, 7 million Embremo on the bench this week, and then who I bench next week, Eze, and then from that it's like, well, you know, he's going to have good fixtures. He's got good fixtures as well. Like I would say, Man United at home is a nice fixture for Eze. Fixture. You know. So who do am I benching Embremo again? Spurs away? I mean, Spurs away, come on. I mean, that could be a tasty one for him. So the question is, am I weakening my team by having such money on the bench? And the answer probably is going to be yes.
Well, we saw it with Firetop's team last week. Too much money on the bench. You said it yourself. If you're going to say that to Firetop, then imagine this week you're benching Burma when he gets that obligatory penalty against Man City and scores. While Eze's just sat there on 2 points after drawing with Leicester 1-1. I don't know. We never will, but it's a tough decision to make. I know a lot of people are probably going to bench Burma anyway. I get it, but like you say, it's money on the bench, and that's why I'm kind of happy with my wildcard team and why I'm going into the deadline knowing that covering the 3 p.m. kickoffs is going to be nail biting, but we can get through it. If we can get through it with both Haaland and Salah doing all right, it'll be then on to the Aston Villa game, hoping that Watkins can do. Where's the evening fixture?
If you could choose personally between Pedro and Welbeck, would you choose Welbeck?
Only because he is guaranteed to start on Saturday because of the fact that he's in the country. The fact that Pedro's on penalties edges it for me, but also Welbeck, to be fair, is their front man at the moment, performing very well. So, in actual fact, and answer your question right now, I'd probably go Welbeck. I'd go Welbeck personally.
We've got a 4.4 midfielder, Steve-O. I've got something that's just transpired where I could play a non-playing 4.4 and have a team which is quite formidable. Would you like to know the dilemma? Would you like to know the combination? Chat, I'm about to put it on the screen. Get ready for this. Are you ready? Brace yourselves for an amazing set of transfers here. We say goodbye to Brian. Hang on, let's go to transfers. We say goodbye to Brian Mbeumo. We say goodbye to Eze. We say goodbye. Are you ready? Are you ready for the next one?
Havertz?
Nope. Mazraoui. We say hello to Greaves at 4.0, who's playing. We say hello to Franca, a non-playing 4.4.
Yeah.
Right? And then, Steve-O, brace yourself. We say hello to Saka. And we keep our 3 of Pedro, Welbeck and Haaland. But we now go with a 3-4-3 of Dunk, Alexander-Arnold, Rico Lewis, Madueke, Saka, Diaz, Salah as the power 4. Pedro, Welbeck and Haaland as the front 3. That, so basically, would mean I would say goodbye to Mbeumo, who'd be my bench fodder that I don't play, and I replace him with a non-playing Franca, which goes third sub. Eze upgrades to Saka and plays, and non-playing Mazraoui, who I brought him from, just be honest, because he's a Man United player and I wanted a Man United player, Greaves comes in for him. So a bench player comes in for a bench player, a non-playing bench player in Mbeumo comes in for a non-playing bench player in Franca. Okay, you could argue I'm weakening my overall squad because I've got a non-player, but I still have 2 playing players on the bench, and Eze upgrades to Saka. Thoughts, Steve-O?
Arsenal coverage as well.
Arsenal coverage.
Arsenal coverage.
So it'd be Dunk, Alexander-Arnold, Rico Lewis, Madueke, Saka, Diaz, Salah, Pedro, Welbeck, Haaland. With Henderson and Fabianski in goal.
Is that 0 money in the bank?
0 money in the bank. I've got exact money to do that. Let's see what the chat is saying.
Who's watching this?
Is anyone even watching this?
Make sure you're liking and subscribing. We are on X tonight. I hope you've put us on X, James.
We are on X, but I'm just worried because I closed the chat that I was using to chat.
Well, if you are on X,
Shagar says, hate it. Yikes. Shit bent. Oh, I've sworn now. Great. Oh, Firetog, our moderators, has got me in trouble. Season over. Trent to Robbo, Franca to Rogers, Welbeck to Visser. I don't need to do those moves. I mean, I don't need to. I don't need to do that. I could go Trent to Robertson.
If you're watching on the replay, comment on the video below. Make sure you're doing this.
I wouldn't need to do Visser. Oh, why would I want Visser in my team? I could do Rogers. So what, you guys are liking this more? Do you like that more? I mean, to be honest, that don't look actually that bad, Steve-O.
What's that?
That don't look too bad, actually. So it would be Robertson instead of Trent, and it would be Rogers instead of non-playing Franca.
But then you're not going to be playing Rogers then, aren't you? So when he
No,
tears
but
it up
I can stomach not playing Rodgers at
when he
5.1 over
tears it up
7.
against a non-existent Everton defence, he's going to be sat there on your bench.
2 Brighton forwards kills it for me.
I don't think it does. I like the 2 Brighton forwards. What's the fixtures? Ipswich this week, and it's Leicester, I believe. Is that right, Jace?
Say again.
Brighton's next several fixtures. They're good. They're not too bad from an attacking perspective. Then it's Chelsea,
no, Brighton's fixtures are very nice.
Yeah, I think it's very, very punty going with the 2 Brighton assets.
I mean, it's I mean, there comes risks with it, of course, but you know what? It's not the worst. It's not the worst shout. You know, doing the Rodgers in and downgrading to Trent to Robertson, but then Robertson's not going to get you the output that Trent's going to get you.
He's been performing very, very well, but Trent is on set pieces, and he looks like he's going to be getting a double-digit return very soon. Very soon. It wouldn't surprise me if it was against Nottingham Forest. Mark this, bookmark this, everybody. Clip it. Against Nottingham Forest. 12 point coming in for Trent Alexander-Arnold. And then 3 bonus on top of that. 15 points for Trent Alexander-Arnold this week. It's Nottingham Forest. A team that creates lots of chances but can't put the ball in the back of the net. Only seem to be able to score 1. Liverpool do like to play Nottingham Forest. They like to play them a lot. Jason's looking at getting rid of that's why I like my Robertson and Trent double up. That's why I like it a lot. Because with Jota and Diaz, again, preferred front 3, but with Champions League approaching. Because remember, Champions League is from next week, Jess. Starts next week.
No.
Whatever the format is, I don't care. It starts next week. And this is when we're going to learn who the key components are for most teams. We know that Salah is guaranteed for Liverpool. We know the likes of Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne are guaranteed to start in both for Champions League. But Walker, I think Walker's going to be the Champions League player and Lewis is the Premier League, apart from in the tough games. Lewis ain't going to be playing against Arsenal. If he does, if Lewis plays against Arsenal, then we know, on a minute here, we've potentially got a Man City bargain on our hands. Potentially. And that's why I like your idea of, can I get rid of Semenyo and have Kevin De Bruyne instead and get rid of Havertz and bring in whomever? I don't know. We'll find out. But I'll find out after the stream if I can do that or not. So I like that. I like that idea. And this is the good thing about these discussions is we get to bounce these ideas off and like forget rivalry. Like at the end of the day, we all want to do well at the game. We want to do. We want to get as high up in the ranks as we possibly can. And let's get real here. It'd be nice, as we keep saying every year, for me and you to do really well at the game, and then
it'd be nice.
Get the people along that want to watch us for tips. On a side note, just a quick side note, everybody.
So the hell out of our streams.
I was watching. Well, I wasn't watching. I find YouTube comments really interesting, Jace. I find YouTube comments really interesting. And what I've noticed is that when very popular FPL accounts go onto other channels or vice versa, I always find it really interesting that the comments that the videos get afterwards just blow my mind at the I don't know, the fickleness of people that watch FPL content. Like, it'll be, oh my God, this content is so unique. Please make more. It's not that unique. It's just 2 people chatting FPL. Oh my God, I can't believe you're in a studio. It's amazing. I wish more channels did studio-based content. They're in a studio. It's not that unique. It's not different. It's just, again, 2 blokes in the studio. I just find it really interesting seeing the kind of people that comment. And you realise that there's a ginormous market out there of FPL accounts that know nothing of other channels, whether you're big or small, whether you're small like us or big time like Blackbox. There are people that are completely unaware of the content that is available. And yeah, I think that if me and you actually, this is my point about when I said at the start of the season, I want to go in my gut. My gut feeling is go without Haaland for 3 games. You said it yourself at the start of the season. You want to play the game where you're not feeling pressurized. You just want to play the game how you want to play.
Yeah.
And if we actually have that mindset and stick through it, at least at that point, when it pays off, it's fucking hell. Kevin De Bruyne, he's come through with a double-digit haul here versus Arsenal, whereas Haaland's done nothing. They beat Arsenal 2-0, and Kevin De Bruyne got a goal and an assist. And you'd be the one that has Kevin De Bruyne, and I've copied you. But it's true. Whereas you are, there's nothing wrong with asking the chat, but then they're just going to come back with what you've experienced, which is go with the popular picks. You just back to template. There's nothing wrong with template. Nothing wrong with it. But
no,
like you and I agree,
safety in numbers for a lot of people.
Of course, yeah. And there's a reason why template works. But also there's a reason why people like Firetog, Dread do so well at this game. Because they're picking players which are outside the box and are going against the template.
Well, Shagez put in the chat, can't you just take a risk on no Haaland for the 3 game weeks and get him on game week 7? You can still captain Salah up to game week 7, means you can spread his funds up to that game week. Well, that's exactly what Steve-O's doing. Well, seems to be doing anyway. But you are completely right. You can absolutely go without Haaland. And like I mentioned earlier on, you could put De Bruyne in and have a bit of that attacking coverage.
That pick is... you think how unlucky you were with De Bruyne versus...
Oh my God, I felt, sick. I felt sick watching the highlights, didn't I? I mean, you saw my face watching the highlights. It was just like, it was torture because he was absolutely doing the business. He looks very, very much in form. He looks fit. He looks like he's gonna score, like most times that he's in front of a goal. So, yeah.
Shall we get on with the predictions? Because I know we're
go on then. Yeah.
For time. So, I mean, obviously you've got everything in front of you, so you can carry on with it. But obviously, we've got our Super Brew, everybody. And actually, while I'm here, just to let people know, our Patreon is now live. So if you want to support the show financially, you're more than welcome to. Just go to Patreon and type in Elite FPL. And there's 2 tiers, $1.99 tier, just to say thank you for me and Jason for what we do. And then there's the $4.99 tier, which gets you additional podcasts. And you get entered into the Trophy League, where it restarts from this game week. So if you start off badly, but I'm thinking, you know what? Trophy League starts from game week 4, 0 points, all afresh. You may want to sign up for the $4.99. You may want to sign up. Anybody that's free at the moment on Patreon and wants to upgrade, that have enjoyed the additional podcasts, by all means, you can do by upgrading to the $4.99 membership. Like I say, you then get entered into the Trophy League. But what I will say is that you have to be a Patreon for the preceding 38 game weeks to be in with the chance of winning the trophy. But yeah, it's all started and it closes on deadline day on game week 4. So you've only got to game week 4. So that's Patreon and the FPL. Of course, if you are enjoying the stream, make sure that you are liking and subscribing. If you're brand new around here, all you people on X, make sure you're jumping over to YouTube. Say hi. Say hi to Jason. He's the only one with the technology. But yeah, let's crack on, James, with our predictions for game week 4.
I'm still messing around my team.
This is a Patreon podcast.
I'm just looking at this and thinking, you know what? I could do this. I could do that. I could do this. I could do that. And it's like, oh my God, like there's so much choice.
Is that without Haaland?
Without Haaland, yeah.
This is the thing, but you've got to keep in your mind, Jace, how do I get him back in for game week 7? Because he will tear it up against Fulham. Unless he drops off form so dramatically that actually, oh, wait a minute. I'm kind of glad I haven't got him.
looking at this and I'm thinking, this, like, who are the best defenders? I mean, there's not an amazing choice for me, defender-wise.
Well, it's Liverpool, Arsenal to start with, easily. And then I'd argue you would then be looking at potentially Brentford with their upcoming fixtures. You then have, we could laugh, but someone like, potentially someone like Crystal Palace. They've got a decent upcoming run of fixtures, but there are teams there, Jace, you can choose from.
Yeah, I again, this whole oh no, Haaland, it kind of entices you to mix up the rest of your team because you free up so much money.
But it makes you feel to spend all the money.
Yes.
That's how you feel, and that's what I fell into the trap of when I had Saka, Palmer, Salah, and someone else who I've completely forgotten about. It's frightening what you can do, but it means that you can't be bringing in talent.
It is frightening what you can do. It really, really is. And like, you could even, and this might be controversial. This might be controversial, but you could even bring in Bernardo Silva.
Silva? No, that is trolling. I mean, that is trolling.
Okay. No, I was being sarcastic. Yeah. Right. Let's move on to the games, shall we? Let's take this seriously. Let's take the stream seriously for a change.
Yeah.
Let me just find where the chat's gone because I don't see it anywhere.
And all these 3 p.m. kickoffs Saturday, everybody. Great to see lots of you supporting the channel. 3 p.m. kickoffs. Alex,
3 p.m. on Saturday.
3
p.m. on Saturday. Get yourself here. Steve-O will be watching the games. We've got 120 people watching, which is incredible. Hello to everybody. I can see the chat again now. Evening, Nick from FPL Juices here. Hello, Nick. How's it going?
Guys.
Saliba is the best defender in the world, says Ross Morgan in the chat. Foden is 10 years younger for the same price. Would rather have legs over De Bruyne's legs, says Alexander McBrien in the chat. They're still looking at it. Anyway, I'm not touching my team, I don't think, tonight. To be honest, man, it's over. It's frying my brain. Okay, so Southampton versus Manchester United, Steve-O. Southampton versus Man United. I am going to go with a 2-1 win for Manchester United. Of course I am, because I'm biased. Steve-O, your thoughts on this game? Southampton, Man United. Southampton at home, of course. It's on TNT Sports. You going to watch it? No.
What I will say, though, is that, am I right in saying Man United seems to be better away from home than they are at home?
Historically,
Under
yes.
Ten Hag?
Yes, that's right.
I think Man United come away with a clean sheet in this.
2-0.
Southampton can't score. They're useless. They'll be typical possession-based football. Man United will take advantage of it. And I'm going to go with, I was thinking 1-0. I'll go 2-0 because of the quality. I think Garnacho's got a start, hasn't
he? Well, I've been saying that for a while, but nothing. Brighton versus Ipswich. 2-1 to Brighton. I'm going to go with 3-1 to Brighton. 3-1 to Brighton.
Ipswich are defensively not as bad as what people are making out. It's just, can they cope with the intensity of the Premier League team? That's what seems to have been catching them out. Just the fact that there's the Premier League fitness levels. I think they do all right, and then they just seem to fade off, and that's when they're caught out. And I think Brighton should be winning this. I don't think they're going to score 3. I'm going to go 2-1, Jay. So that's the first 3 p.m, isn't it? Or one of the 3 p.m.
It's one of the 3 p.m s, yeah. Which Steve-O will be covering. Crystal Palace versus Leicester. With Eze on my team at the moment as it stands. I think Crystal Palace has got enough in them to just to win this by a goal margin. I'm going to go 2-1 to Crystal Palace.
We're talking of Leicester. Jamie Vardy, James, at 5.6 million. I was looking to maybe fit him in. Genuinely. Guaranteed start for Leicester. They've got some decent...
Rolling back the years, Steve-O. Rolling back the years.
Well, as Dan says, I genuinely think that, honestly, that he could be an option for you, Jace, at 5.6. But how do you fit him in with the quality of players you've got already?
Nah.
It's Crystal Palace
Well,
at home
it'd
to
be
Leicester.
it'd be one of the Brighton boys out, wouldn't it? But no, it's not happening.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think, like you say, I'm stating the bloody obvious. Crystal Palace should be winning this. Struggling to score goals, though. They're struggling. I think potentially, Jace, this could be a shock result in the sense of Leicester could get something here. I think on Super Brew, I'm probably going to go 2-1. I'm going to boldly state now that Leicester could get a 1-1 draw.
Okay, 1-1 draw, says Steve-O. Fulham versus West Ham, a derby game of epic proportions. It's going to be. I'm not too sure how this one's going to go. I can see 1-1. I can see 2-1 either way. I'm going to go with Fulham 2-1. Another 2-1 prediction.
Yeah, Fulham, another team who I've seen them a couple of times. I've just not been particularly impressed by them at all. And Muniz, absolute waste of
Smith Rowe's
space.
all right.
He's done okay by all accounts. He fades in and out of games. You can tell he's got quality about him. There's no denying it. Against West Ham, though, West versus East. It's a big old journey for West Ham to get there. I know that for fact. So I'm going to go with...
Quicker to take a flight, innit?
Well, you get a flight from Stansted to Heathrow, the Piccadilly line, down to Hammersmith, and you could walk a 20-minute walk. Yeah, you are right.
Yeah. Could you imagine that for you? Could you imagine that in this day and age for your carbon footprint? Yeah, we flew for 5 minutes. Right, so
I think West Ham have got the better quality, even though Fulham are good at home. Colm, if you're watching, I'm going to go with West Ham to nick this 2-1.
Up next, we've got one of the spicier, one of the two spicy 3 PMs. We've got Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest in a game where I fully expect Liverpool to just dominate. I think Nottingham will have their chances, but I think it's going to be 2-0 to Liverpool in this game, maybe even 3. Thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, I looked at the history for Man City and Liverpool over the next 3 fixtures, and Liverpool's history versus the likes of Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth especially, are very, very good at home. There are lots of 3-0s, 4-0s, things like that, versus the 2 respective teams. And I think Liverpool, it's going to sound ridiculous, but I have this feeling that Nottingham Forest score, but Liverpool come out and win 3-1.
3-1, yeah.
3-1, yeah. I can already hear someone writing, so why have you got Liverpool double defence around?
Yeah, well.
I'm going to go 3-1, Jace.
Manchester City versus Brentford is the next game that's on the list here. I would expect Man City to just do a professional job here. I don't think it's going to be 2, 3, 4 goals. I think it's just going to be a 2. You heard it, 2-0 win for Manchester City. 2-0. To have Haaland or not is the question. I don't think Haaland scores both, but I think he will be involved in at least 1 goal in this game. Man City 2, Brentford 0. Steve-O?
I'm going an extra goal. I'm going to go 3. Even though the history, genuinely, from what I remember, it was just 2-0s, 2-1s to Man City. Even there's the odd game here where Brentford have actually come out on top. I think the last time they played each other, or last season, I think Man City won 3-1, but I think that was away. I could be wrong there, but I'm sure I saw a 3-1 to Man City. Either way, I'm going to go 3-0 and Haaland. I think he gets 2, Jace. I fear that. I think Haaland captain has come out on top this week, annoyingly, and I'll be covering it.
But that's part of your 3-week plan. Is that hopefully over the 3 weeks
over the 3 weeks? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Aston Villa versus Everton. I think Everton are, and I think Aston Villa are going to get a win here. Home team again to win. Ollie Watkins, could it be the game where he goes back up to 9 million? I think Aston Villa to win this 1-0.
1-0.
Yeah, just 1-0.
So it's funny you say that. I'm certain I saw the history suggesting a low-scoring game. And Aston Villa
I don't think it's going to be more than 1.
I think because of Everton's depleted defence, I'm going to
2-0.
go with Aston Villa to take advantage, and I'm going to go with. I think I don't know why Aston Villa always seem to concede. I'm going to go 2-1 to Aston Villa.
Who's going to score? Calvert-Lewin.
They've got Calvert-Lewin, McNeil. They've got
Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin and McNeil.
Yeah. Bournemouth versus Chelsea, Steve-O. You go first.
Well, I've got some menu in this game. I think I'm actually going to be playing. I think I've got him playing. I can't remember now. I'm thinking if I have him or not. But I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. It's based on absolutely nothing, Jess. There's something about Bournemouth. They seem to have some fight in them. They played very well against Newcastle. They get a 3-3 draw. No, 2-2. No, they beat Everton 3-2. I think this is going to be another 3-2. I'm going to go for Chelsea. I'm going to go 3-2 to Chelsea. I think this is going to be a really entertaining, high-scoring game. 8 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Odd. I don't know why they've chosen that game. I wonder if Dan will be watching it. By the way, Dan, it's 40 today. Happy birthday, Dan. Remember that, Jace?
Wow.
Sing a song. Come on. Happy birthday to Dan. 40.
Okay. Give me a moment, and I'll sing him a song.
Hang
on. Well, no, we can sing together, can't we, Steve? Well, no.
No, you can sing. Let me just hum the song and you can sing over it. It's simple.
Oh, God. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Danny boy. Happy birthday to you.
Everybody in chat wish Dan a happy birthday.
There we go. Happy birthday, Dan.
What if we go to the Bournemouth game? and then Ray's 40 next week. 2 people in the 40s.
I'm not singing another one for Ray. But no, let's move on to Spurs versus Arsenal. Spurs Arsenal, a fixture that's 2 o'clock fixture. Spurs Arsenal. Spurs. I think Spurs won't be an easy one for Arsenal. I think this could be a 2-2. I'm going to go 2-2.
Wow. Yes, obviously we've discussed that Arsenal have got several key players out, and this is Tottenham's opportunity to take advantage. Tottenham are very good at home. Even though they score, I believe, again, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain last season they scored less goals at home than they did away. Against Arsenal, they hate playing Arsenal. Arsenal love playing Tottenham. I think Arsenal, I still think they've got the edge. And I'm going to go with Ray and Dan, the 2 40-year-olds. And I'm going to go with Arsenal to win this 2-1.
Okay, the away team to win 2-1. And finally, the Wolves versus Newcastle game at 4:30. Has anyone got anyone in this playing in this game? Anyone got any Newcastle players left? Anyone got Isaac? Anyone got anyone from Newcastle? Anyone? No. Don't all put your hands up. Steve-O, what's your thoughts on this? Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Oh, I'll go first. You got a team
go for it, mate.
Who started off relatively poorly. They played well, but I think that 6-2 hammering by Chelsea was an anomaly. They're up against a Newcastle team who, by all accounts, in the behind the scenes, Jace, is not looking rosy. People aren't particularly happy, and I think that again, I'm sure the history is a regular 0-0, 1-1, and I've not been impressed by Newcastle at all, Jace. And I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go 1. I'm going to go 1-1, Jace.
1-1. Yeah, I think I'm going to give Newcastle a win here. I'm going to go 2-1 to Newcastle. I think they will start to kick in gear, and I think Isaac is going to score in this game and make managers rethink. Maybe a good performance from Newcastle. I obviously away at Molineux. Yeah, it could swing the other way around. It could be Wolves that come away with a 2-1 win, but I think I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle.
What a game to have at 4:30. I mean, I get the fact that Spurs Arsenal local derby, but come on, why is that not at 4:30? Wolves versus
It's not riveting. Let's be honest with you.
I think I'll be in my car driving them back to Devon. To be
I'm in my car. Yeah.
driving in the car.
I'm
Down
in my
into
mum's car. Bloom, bloom. Do you know that meme?
I'm afraid I don't know.
Oh, I'll share it on social media later. For those who don't know,
Can't wait.
it's before the internet was like a thing for most people. Right. Anyway, I'm gonna love you and leave you on this one because I need to go and have some food because I'm absolutely starving. I've been working all day like most people, and I need food. Thank you for jumping in. And Steve, can you remind everybody what's happening at 3:00 on Saturday and where they can find us on social media and or Discord?
Yeah, certainly. So firstly, if you want to continue chatting all things FPL, there is the Discord. The link is in the description. I'm sure one of the moderators or Jason himself will be able to put a link if you do want to continue talking FPL. If you've got any game week 4 wildcard dilemmas or transfer dilemmas, there's always people, especially in the popular hangout section, which is just a voice chat between one another to discuss all things FPL and various other topics as well. So by all means, join the Discord. If you have enjoyed the stream and are brand new around here and enjoy what me and Jason do, make sure you are hitting the subscribe button and the like button, of course. And make sure after stream or anybody watching on the replay, give us feedback, comment on the video.
What did we do good? What didn't we do good?
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Thank you for tuning in on X.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you for tuning on X. Make sure you're following us on that, even though we don't post anything.
I'll be posting something in a moment, Steve-O.
We now have a TikTok account, which I just post clips of this show. You can follow us on TikTok, and that's at Elite FPL. Other than that, your Patreon, like I said, if you want to support the channel financially, you can do by joining us on a Patreon. There's a $1.99 tier and a $4.99 tier. The $4.99 tier will get you the additional podcast, an entry into the Game Week 4 Trophy League. Other than that, I can't think of anything else, Jace, other than you'll be getting food, I'm going to be getting food, and I'm going to go out for a long walk up and around Newton Abbot, Jace. Newton Abbot.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I'm tweeting this out now. This is what I was referring to, Steve-O.
Oh, and of course, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Saturday as well.
3 p.m. Saturday, guys. Be there or be square. Take care. All the best. Wave, Steve-O.